Techter is a support class, using techniques to both deal damage to enemies and grant a power boost to their allies. In today's video, we're going to discuss a build for playing a Techter. For starters, let's talk about your class tree. We currently have 47 skill points to spend, and this is how we do it. Start with Shifta Deband, which increases damage dealt and reduces damage received by you and nearby players for a set time. Put 10 points into Weak Element Amplifier, which increases your photon blast gauge when you attack enemies with their elemental weakness. Put 5 points into Awake Ale, which increases your photon blast gauge when a boss is nearby. Overemphasis, which recovers HP and PP of you and your party members when activated, as well as grant a temporary increase to max PP. Rest of Field Techter, which makes a healing AoE around you when you use a Rest Assign and also increases the amount Rest Assign heals. Slow Landing Charge, which makes you fall slower when charging photon arts and techniques in the air. United Techniques Techter, which allows you to use compound techniques. Bowie Brand, which places a fire seal on an enemy you hit with a fire technique several times. Hitting an enemy with this seal on them with another fire technique causes the seal to explode, dealing additional damage and restoring PP. Barda Blot, which places an ice sigil on an enemy after hitting them with several uncharged ice techniques. Hitting the enemy with a charged ice technique causes the sigil to explode. Zondeclad, which causes you to enter a high voltage state after hitting enemies several times with uncharged lightning techniques. While in this state, your next charged lightning technique will deal increased damage, then you return to normal. Max out Compound Technique Gauge Amplifier, which builds your compound technique gauge when you attack an enemy with their elemental weakness. Zan Gale, which will affix a vortex to an enemy after hitting them with an uncharged wind technique. Hitting them with a charged wind technique will activate the vortex, causing a different attack depending on which wind technique you used. Grant's Glitter, which will surround you with a halo after hitting an enemy multiple times with a light technique. While you have this halo, using light techniques will result in additional attacks, which depend on the technique you use. Gaining an additional halo does not stack them together, but resets the duration a halo is active. Megasphere, which causes a dark orb to follow you when you hit an enemy with an uncharged dark technique. You can stock up to 3 orbs, and when you use a charged dark technique, you consume all active orbs to increase the damage of that technique. The damage bonus corresponds to the number of orbs you stocked. Shifta Deband Party Share, which grants the effect of Shifta Deband to party members whether they are nearby or not. Shifta Effect Advantage, which causes bonus damage to be dealt to downed enemies while affected by Shifta Deband. Shifta Effect Amplifier, which increases enemy down factor when affected by Shifta Deband. Deband PP Recovery Boost, which increases natural PP recovery speed when affected by Shifta Deband. Deband Ward Condition, which increases status effect resistance when affected by Shifta Deband. Reverse Bounty, to grant Shifta Deband to players you revive. Shifta Deband Extension, to increase the duration of the effect. Long Range Shifta Deband, which allows you to launch Shifta Deband in front of you instead of around you. Wand Lovers, which allows you to deflect attacks with your normal attack while active, and also prevents you from being knocked back or launched. Wand Attack Extra, which allows you to make 4 normal attacks in a combo. Wand Element Change, which will add an elemental explosion to your wand normal attacks after using a charge technique. The element matches the element of the last charge technique you use. Wand Parry Counter, which allows you to use a counterattack by using a normal attack after guarding from an attack with your weapon action at the right moment. Wand Lover's Line Force, which increases the damage and attack speed of normal attacks while Wand Lovers is active. Wand Guard Reflection, which causes an elemental explosion when you block an attack with your weapon action. Wand Element Revoke, which allows you to remove the elemental explosion attached to your wand by holding down the weapon action button. Wand Parry Counter Advanced, which adds a shockwave to Wand Parry Counter. Wand Art's Skip Attack, which lets you start a normal attack combo with the third hit if you use the same photon art twice first. Wand Technique Skip Beat, which changes your wand normal attack to a powerful attack after using a charge technique. And finally, Wand Element Pursuit, which launches an additional attack if you revoke your element after hitting an enemy with several elemental explosions. Your subclass is Slayer. The skills we want from this tree are Max Out Critical Up, which increases your critical hit rate, Gallant Attack Critical Up, which increases critical hit rate against bosses, and Max Out Critical Hit PP Gain, which lets you recover PP when landing critical hits. You will have 17 Slayer skill points left over, which can be spent however you wish, as they must be spent, but nothing else in this tree is useful for this build. Our main mechanic is Shifted to Band, and it's important and easy to keep this buff up 100% of the time, as the effect lasts for 3 minutes, yet the cooldown is only 15 seconds. Cooldown starts the moment you use the skill, so just remember to reuse the skill every minute or two to reset its duration. Your allies will thank you. Whether fighting groups of enemies or bosses, our strategy is the same. Cast a charge technique to make your wand match your enemy's elemental weakness, then go all out with normal attacks, and they swift smash photon art. If your target is airborne, using techniques from a distance is the way to go. As a Techter, you also have access to compound techniques. These are powerful techniques that use multiple elements to deal devastating damage. They have their own gauge like your Photon Blast, and are filled by attacking and dealing elemental damage your target is weak to. Use these whenever you can and feel the situation calls for it. Don't forget about Overemphasis. It's essentially a free heal for you and your party members. While you don't have the damage output that other classes have, remember, your job is to keep your party alive and make them even better at dealing damage, which is just as important as dishing out tons of damage at the end of the day. At the time of this recording, the gear you want for this build are a Flugelguard Wand and any combination of Octo Armor and Octo Armor VO. The Flugelguard Wand drops from Mining Rig Ratem Rank 3, Lacile Exploration, Alvaldi Vera, Darkfalls Solus, and Malignant Darkfalls Aegis. Octo Armor can be exchanged for in the Growthman Exchange Shop or drop from Lacile Exploration. Octo Armor VO can drop from Mining Rig Ratem Rank 3. The augments you want for all of this gear are Technique 4, which drops from Field Races, Darkfalls Aegis, Mining Rig Defense Kavaris Rank 2, Boldorus Vera, Nils Vera, or purchase from the Genesis shop. Speed Trippable, Gladiosol, High Hail Domina, Lux Hell Finale, and Gigasmast are your other augments, which are all exchangeable for in the Augment Capsule Exchange at the Item Lab. And that's all for this build. Thank you for watching, and if this video helped, please consider liking and subscribing for more PSO2 content, and I'll see you next time.